My name is Mattijs van der Poort, and I'm an anthropologist at the University of Amsterdam. Anthropology for me is very much the study of encountering the other and trying to make sense of what happens between me and another, a person who lives a life different from mine, and what can I learn from that. And this centrality of the encounter, for me, needs to be the starting point of filmmaking. I'm a great fan of his work. Noir, for instance, is this beautiful film where he works with these local boys who reenact a story, and through that story we get to know something about their lives. Reenactments are there in all of my films. I love that, this idea that we don't have to sort of be observational cineasts who say we should not interfere in anything, the camera should be registering it for the objectivity of it all. No, Jean Rouch already completely said there are other ways of storytelling which will be equally revelatory of a life world. I really believe in performances people show so much of themselves, and the idea that since it is a performance, it would not be authentic, really doesn't make sense to me. The film tries to rethink the idea of nature, especially wild nature, and how we humans are constantly, on the one hand, trying to domesticate nature. At the same time, we are seduced by wilderness and wildness and want to go there. And it is this sort of being drawn to it and being afraid of it that I wanted to explore in the film. I had this crush, as I call it in the film, on a figure who was in the film who really tore me off my path. And it was super exciting and it was super scary. And I thought, okay, this is exactly the tension that I'm interested in. The human species has been building labyrinths for thousands and thousands of years. And what is a labyrinth? It's a structure that is there for you to enter it and get lost. So I really felt, okay, what I was living at a very personal level is not just personal, it's also a cultural script. Being gay, I immediately felt that queer aesthetics, or camp, as it used to be called, is a very interesting aesthetic form, which immediately sort of questions everything that is natural. Camp for me really is the aesthetic that celebrates the beauty of plastic roses and purple hair and false diamonds on your glasses or whatever. An understanding of the artifice of everything, including the natural. And then later I learned that the Baroque, which is an aesthetic which is very relevant to Brazil, where I make my film, has a very similar understanding that the Baroque also celebrates artifice. Again, to break with the false promise of documentary film that film can show the way things really are. No. Film can just give another version of the world. In Brazil, I am the gringo, and the gringo is a well-known character in Bahia, and I'm very visibly not Brazilian in the part of Brazil where I work. So from miles afar, people know there is a gringo coming there, and the gringo indeed induces certain performances. I have many predecessors from colonial times of people making that same choice. And for me, it was very important to see that. What I hope is that in the film, I also are very critical of that endeavor. You bring into a film your own preconceptions and prejudices even, but in the encounter, people start to correct you. And that is exactly for me what anthropology needs to be.